today. Joshua Holt was slated to undergo medical care before returning to Utah. Holt arrived in Washington over the weekend after secret back-channel negotiations resulted in his release. Holt was arrested in 2016 on suspicion of weapons charges that he and his family said were bogus. Mexico's most powerful drug cartel has been dealt some major blows with today. NPR's first taken into custody. NPR's Carrie Kahn reports one of those.
The biggest arrest
from Oregon.
The biggest arrest took place late Saturday night from the Jalisco New Generation, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. As she walked, Mexico's interior minister says authorities took the Rosalie Garcia into custody without a shot fired. Answering officers' question, then hands on her Louis Vuitton purse and watch and break her to a woman accompanying her. Watch and being taken away. Garcia is the wife of Nemesio Oseguera, who has become after Chapo Guzman was extradited to the also arrested Gerardo Botello Rosales, who is accused of running the cartel's operations in Oregon for 2002 homicide. Carrie Kahn, NPR News, Mexico City.
Subtropical storm L18 Atlantic hurricane season off coast, bringing with it heavy rain. Florida Governor Rick Scott said today for his state's residents, this is an all too familiar drill.
This is the beginning of hurricane season. Everybody's got to start the process of getting prepared. 3 days of evacuation days, have your medicine, know your evacuation route.
Storm with sustained winds and orders from Panhandle. Tropical storm warning is in effect for a stretch of coast from Florida to the Alabama border to Oregon. U.S. financial markets are closed for Memorial Day. This is NPR.
And you're listening to WNYC in New York. I'm Jamie Floyd. President Trump, before the Refugee Act of 1980, and now non-profits that pay federal refugees are feeling the pinch. WNYC's Matt Katz reports.
Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Newark has amassed loads of donations for refugees anytime soon. So the agency is shutting down its resettlement program. It's part of a nationwide trend. Federally subsidized refugee resettlement agencies cease employees. Just about 70 refugees have been admitted to New Jersey this year. Refugees have 520. There's two-thirds fewer than at this time in 2016, before Trump came into office.
The body of a humpback whale that washed up on Fire Island will undergo an autopsy to help wildlife officials figure out how it died. Since the Atlantic Marine Conservation Day, the whale's body, measuring about 35 to 40 feet long, washed on the barrier off Long Island shore this weekend and is in an advanced state of decomposition. The Conservation Society says there has been an unusual spike in humpback whale deaths along the northeast coast over the past 2 years. Biologists hope determining the cause of death will help them figure out why. And across New York City, there have been observations of Memorial Day today on the Upper West Side. Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Monument there. The former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson spoke.
Those of us
soldiers make.
Those of us in civilian life must see it there. Be prepared to do the same. How many of us will be prepared to see in the natural order of things, children one day order their parents. Parents should never have to warn their children.
Today marks the 150th anniversary of the holiday Liberation Day, and it's currently 66 degrees at Memorial Monument.
Support for NPR comes from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, committed to supporting Education for All, preserve the environment, Education for vital performing environments, and more information available at hewlett.org.
In this hour, with the uproar over children being separated from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border, tweeted, quote, "Put pressure on the Democrats to end the horrible law that separates children from their parents once they cross the border." Well, so we're going to dig into that statement in a moment, but the fact is that statement in a moment, but the fact is that the has talked about the policy as a deterrent. In March of last year, John Kelly told CNN that the administration was considering taking children from their parents if they crossed the border illegally. At the time, Kelly was Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security.
Yes, I am considering, in order to deter more movement along this terribly dangerous network, I am considering exactly that. They will be well cared for as we deal with their parents.
Now, administration officials are making clear that this is exactly what border agents are doing. Here is Attorney General Jeff Sessions speaking earlier this month.
If you don't want your child to be separated, then don't bring them across the border illegally. It's not our fault. somebody does that.
John Kelly's successor as DHS Secretary, Kirstjen Nielsen, defended the practice on NPR a couple of weeks ago. She said the primary issue is referring adults who break border laws for prosecution, even when those adults are with
We will have to operationally what that means is we will have to separate your family. That's no different than what we do every day in every part of the United States when an adult of a family commits a crime.
We wanted to hear how this practice is playing out, so we reached out to the Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights. That's at the University of Chicago Law School. And Jennifer Nagda is Policy Director for the Young Center. She joins us now. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start by making clear what stake you have there at the Young Center. You help advocate for children who are in shelters around the country, is that right?
We do. Under a law that was passed by a bipartisan Congress, appointed by a Republican president, we are appointed as the independent child advocate for particularly vulnerable children, unaccompanied children, typically those children who arrive at the border by themselves and are placed in government custody. Our role is to identify and advocate for their best